Hello? Yes, sir. But it's a bit odd. I can't see.
Hi, chat. All right, moving to the coaching scene. There we go.
There we go. All's
Right,
good. I'm
let's
ready.
get started. Hold on, I have to copy the code you gave me.
Yes, sir. If it doesn't work, I'll go on. I'll go on Overwatch right now to see if it
No,
works.
there's a
It
code.
should do.
Yep,
There we go.
works fine. So we're watching a Gibraltar tank over here, playing Reinhardt on Blizzard World, which is okay. Not ideal, but fine.
I told my friend. I'm queuing with my Zarya friend. He's a really good
Okay.
Zarya friend, so me and him usually queue together because we synergize well. We play dive together and we play rush like we're doing now.
Right. Things to take into account, you don't really have a lot of healing right now, right? Like, you've got Mercy Lucio, so you have to be very careful when you go in because you either win the fight really fast or you are gonna lose because you just don't have healing to sustain through the fight.
I knew that. My
Hi,
friend Pibana was
nurse.
like, "Oh, why Mercy? Why don't you go heals?" But as you see in her name, she's a Mercy one trick, so I had to play around my resources.
Yep, that's fine. When this happens, usually, especially at your rank, you're playing at Masters, right? Hold on, let's change that.
I'm 3,700 right now. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is live session because Gibraltar Tank does better when coach live. So,
that's why I just wanted to know.
right, yeah, so 3700. And I would usually tell you to go either ball or monkey because at your rank, hero picks actually matter a lot. Even if you want to play Rush, you don't really have the comp to play Rush. Like you have the Lucio, but your DPS are long range DPS, and you don't really have enough healing to sustain. So my first thought is you either really probably want to play either ball or monkey because
Probably
especially
monkey.
ball because ball doesn't need like any healing, whereas with monkey you can do a little bit better. But Rein is a hero that requires a lot of healing.
Yeah, I can understand that,
So yeah,
which is why I
especially at
play
your
Pharah
rank,
with Lucius.
hero choice matters a lot around your team. If you had maybe like a Reaper, I would be like, okay, you can play Rein because with Reaper we can just run at them and maybe win the fight really fast, right?
Yeah,
But because we
I
have
told the
two
team,
long
let's go
range
rush.
damage,
I said,
you
let's go
cannot
rush, but
always
this is their choice.
influence the team. What you can do is of course just change yourself. And if I recall correctly, you told me that your ball is actually pretty decent, so it shouldn't be a problem to go ball. At least with this
It's.
team comp.
I'm not confident on my ball. Like
Okay,
I don't play a lot of him. If I'm forced onto him, he's not a comfort pick, but
got it.
I don't want to put
So
too much into it.
we're going main. Shield jumping is fine. Play on the statue. This is fine. Fire strike, like whenever you can, just fire strike. It's your best ult
I'm
to charge
scared.
in. I
I
know
think
you
they'll
think
do
it will
their
get
magic.
deflected, but
Not deflected. Someone behind me dies. At least let me go up to there, and people know that I'm gonna put my shield down. Then I go for the fire strike. That's why.
who's gonna come with you? Like your team is full of heroes that do not need to come with you or do not need to shield. Like Soli should be playing with cover like he is. Ash should be playing either on the high ground or around the statue, right? You shouldn't be so concerned about your team taking damage because your shield is not a tool for you to block for your entire team right now. Because you don't have like a Reaper or anyone who will actually use your shield. Like
Yeah.
Soli will be playing way far back, and Ash is also a long range hero. So they will not be needing your shield. At least they should not be needing your shield. Your Ashe has terrible position. You say, yeah, usually you want Ashe to play behind the statue or in the high ground, but she kind of play with the open. Still, let's keep pushing forward. And the idea, your Sari actually dies. But the idea behind using the fire strike as often as possible is getting your ult charge as fast as you can, because it's basically your only tool for that. Like you can see, their Rein hit one fire strike and he's already beating you in the shatter fight,
The Oaks
because
game.
yeah. And then we shatter and it gets fire strike and gets deflected, which is fine. If we wait deflect, it's fine. They killed both of our Mercy and our Zarya, but that's because they are taking enough angle here. Which, by the way, again, you don't need your shield because you cannot really block the off angle. So it's not your fault, but at the same time, our Ashe should be on the high ground contesting this angle, or our Soldier can contest this angle. There's nothing with Rein you can really do about off angles, you just want to push main as fast as possible. Now that we know their team, I can tell you the way you win this fight is by just going very aggressive. Like, look at their team. They have Rein Zarya as well, right? But they have Genji and Ashe who don't do a lot of brawl damage. And they have Moira Mercy. So in a longer fight, they have a lot more healing because they have Moira. The thing is, they cannot really escape from us because we have Lucio and they don't. So generally what you do is you either play aggressive, right? And as soon as they use like both bubbles or one of their tank goes low or one has a shield, we tell our Lucio to speed us forward and we just run them forward. Like, you just run them over. That's the idea, and that's basically the only one I see you winning this, other than maybe your DPS going crazy and getting a lot of picks, right?
Yeah, I was thinking just disengage here.
Yeah, this is fine. We lost two people. We just disengage. You don't have to back out all the way, by the way. The idea is generally if you can hold here, and if they push into you, then you retreat into Mega Room, right here, where you can hold here, and if they try to chase you, you have the advantage of the choke. You have a Mega right behind you, right? This is very safe.
Yeah.
So
and they don't have Lucio too.
They don't have Lucio, you can get that. Usually what you want to, even if they have Lucio though, because you also have Lucio, if they have Lucio and you don't, then yeah, you probably just die, really, because you can't really get away. But because you have Lucio, I would say just go to the Mega Room, because even if they want to push you, like, they don't have enough close range damage to push into this choke. Like, with Ashe being away, Mercy probably being away, maybe Moira comes with, but Moira doesn't really do a lot of damage, and Genji also doesn't do a lot of damage. So I'll definitely just be like, we don't need to give all of this space up, right? We can just hold here. It's not a big thing, but whenever you can just hold a position and you're kind of safe, you should do it, because it's basically free space, right? We don't have to get through the choke again.
Yeah.
We end up backing out all the way, which again, backing out, like getting away from the fight, is the right idea. I would just have taken a different path.
I was just playing like a pussy. You can say that, bro.
It's okay. The Genji dies, so now we have the advantage. You just wait for the Mercy and the Zarya to come back, and then we rush. What I would do here, it's difficult because, again, another thing of backing out this way is that you have to hold your shield, and now your shield is broken. Whereas if you just wait here, you don't have to shield anything. And if they push you, you can just swing. You don't have to shield, and go inside. You don't have to shield. Right now would be a great time to push forward and prevent the rest, because the Genji died, like, right there. So the rest is here, and if you push forward with your shield, then they cannot rest. But because you have shield, you may not be able to do that. She's going for the rest right now. And our soldier dies. She goes out. I think our Lucio, but let's look at it. I thought she went for the rest. This is 20 seconds or 10 seconds? So 20. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So our Mercy dies here, blah 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 blah. Lose the fight, we back out. Here's where the Genji just dies. The Mercy goes forward but doesn't commit to the rest, which is good for them because we have an Ashe here who could have killed her. Soldier dies.
Could I have prevented that death?
Probably not.
Or is that just RNG?
It's not so much RNG as it's your Ashe just your Soldier was probably just standing in the open. Let's look at the Soldier. He's standing in the open, he takes a shot and he dies, right? So this is not something you can really prevent. because you're playing here, but your soldier is playing in the open like this, and he gets dynamited, and then just runs into the open instead of just backing out or going for the mercy because our mercy is respawning.
You got a point.
So is it something you could have prevented? Actually, probably not, because again, dynamite is well, she can throw it over your shield, right? That's the whole point of dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Here, just be like, yeah, group up with your team. We don't need to push forward yet. We don't have a soldier, so I wouldn't be pushing forward yet. Genji's that. Yeah, I was.
We were even, you know. They lost
Yeah,
their
soldier.
Genji, but we lost our soldier.
Our soldier just died, so I would just wait for it. Alternatively, if you can make a space for the rest, that's good. But our mercy is not going for the rest. I would have expected. Let's wait for a second. I can hold my shield, get the rest, and we can push 6v5, right? Instead of
Couldn't the
instead.
Mercy use the cover of the statue to rest?
The thing is, if you're going forward, Mercy is basically your only healing, so she kinda has to go with you. It's not really that she can let you be. You're gonna die really quick. Even though her healing is low, it's still some healing, and you're probably gonna die without it. We're still waiting, which is weird. Like, if we are going aggro, why are we still holding the choke? Like, you did this. If I go back in seconds.
I guess it was nervousness.
See, we are going aggro.
Like
we use both of our bubbles. And then we just retreat. Our Lucio is going forward. Our Ashe is going forward. Even Zarya hasn't retreated yet. She's just waiting for you to push. And you end up basically behind your entire team.
I guess I was just waiting, you know? I think I was waiting for a teammate.
If you were waiting for your teammate, that's fine, but you're basically baiting your team by going forward. Just if you're waiting, just wait here. If you go forward, we use a lot of resources. We use, I think we use Stamp, we use both bubbles, we use Dynamite. Also, again, Fire Strike. Whenever you can, just Fire Strike. That's fine. Like, you actually got value out of that one. Looks like we're finally going aggressive, which is good. Again, the way you beat them is by just going aggressive. You get bubble, you go on the Rein. Look, Rein is not half, but like missing 200 HP. We just swing at the Rein until we kill him. Holding your shield a little, it's fine. Like you don't have to go extremely aggressive, but that's about Fire Strike. Remember, you just wait for a second until the bubble ends. You cannot break the bubble by yourself.
Yeah, even 4 swings can't kill a bubble. I mean, that's of
course, no,
4
3
swings kill a bubble.
No, it's actually 3 now. It's been 3 for a while. Like, at 75 is 225, but even at 85, which is now, it's like, well, it's 10 more damage, so it's 255, and the bubble only has 200 HP. The point is, you need 3 swings to kill a bubble anyway. Don't worry about it. If your Zarya is with you and they call to break the bubble, then you just break the bubble. Okay, we get beat, so we go aggressive here. Like, the Zarya is dead. You just want to go in as fast as you can. Swing, we win the fight, yeah. We win the fight. Yeah, we go aggressive, we win the fight. That's basically how you want to play this.
How did you identify I had to go aggressive there? Like, their comp is dog shit. Like, you know that if you go aggressive and push into them, they lost. What do they need in order for me to feel a little bit afraid?
The first difference... the first main difference is that you have a Lucio. Like, this is so important for a Brawl comp, for a Brain Zarya comp. Because if you use both bubbles, if you don't have resources, you usually want to either back out, or that's your cue to push forward. In this case, they use both bubbles, right? You waited, you still Fire Strike into the bubble, which is not ideal. Because, well, Fire Strike is 100 damage for free, basically. But even then, they used both bubbles, their run shield was kinda low. Mora had already used the orb on the beginning of the fight, so they basically had no resources to sustain. So I'm like, yeah, just go aggressive. They have no resources anymore, and we have Lucio. We can just run at them, kill them, and the longer, remember this, the longer you let the fight go, the more value they get because they have Moira and we don't.
Yeah.
But also, like, if they had like a Reaper, I would be like, the situation changes because you cannot really go aggro. You get punished very easily because you don't have a Reaper. So I would be like, if they had a Reaper just playing with their tanks, you cannot push as aggressively. But with their comp, like, they have a long range damage hero and a flanker, so they don't really have any DPS to play with their tanks either. We don't like Soldier is a little bit better than Genji and playing main angle, but we don't really have any brawl DPS. If they had brawl DPS, I would be like, yeah, you have to play very, very defensive because you're always gonna lose the front line. The way you usually play that is you have 2 people on the front line, they have 3 people on the front line. You just last for as long as you can, and you hope that the DPS get picks because you cannot really win those. Like 2v3 is very difficult to win on the front line. Then you're just relying on basically your soldier and your Ash getting picks. But right now, because it's basically a 2v2, 2v2, Rein Zarya versus Rein Zarya, and our support lineup is better. It's better, but Lucio makes it so that we can go aggressive and punish them when they commit resources, right? They use bubbles, their shield is low, they don't have the Moira Orb, they don't have anything to stop us when we just go in.
Yeah.
So that's how I just look at the comps. I'm like, okay, they don't have any damage, and they don't have Lucio, which is something I always look for. If I'm playing Rein Zarya, I always look for which team has a Lucio, because that marks the pace you can play at, right?
Yeah.
If we have a Lucio and they don't, we can run forward at whenever we think we can and run them over. Like if they use all of the resources, we run in. If we get a pick, we run in, right? Like if Moira dies, for example, if our Ash kills Moira, we just run at the Rein because he no longer has any healing. On the other hand, if they have a Lucio and we don't, I usually try to play very conservatively, play around the corners until I see an opportunity. And even when I see an opportunity, I know I cannot chase them. So what I try to do is I try to take space rather than chase them, because I know I will not get to them to kill them. So I'll be like, okay, I cannot really chase the Rein. If they got a Lucio and I don't, I will never catch up. So what I'll do is I'll go and try to hold the furthest corner as I can. Like go from here, if I can, to here, or ideally to here. Maybe I'll play around this column, but I'll try to take as much space as I can, so that when they want to recontest, my team has the advantage on them.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. If we don't have Lucio,
because if we don't have Lucio, then they have the opportunity to just get away from us. We will never catch up, and also re-engage on us, and we can't get away. So what I'll do is I'll try to move as forward as possible, so my team can stay here where they are safe. And if they want to get to my team, they have to get through me, right? And this gives my team enough time to do a lot of damage. Even if I die, my team can still get a ton of value from just creating this distance.
Yeah, you've done your job basically at that point, even if you do die.
And if both teams have Lucio, I just play like basically both teams don't have Lucio. It's the same idea. I rely a lot more on damage and the other support, because Lucio kind of just cancels each other out, right? Unless you've got like a bad Lucio on one side or a Reddit Lucio or whatever. In that case, you can take that into account. But usually, if you have Lucio on both sides, you just go, yeah, okay. Neither side has such a distinct advantage if we both have Lucius.
Yeah.
We push forward here. Taking the high ground is fine.
I'm not intending to commit. I just wanted to be there for my Ash
and this is fine
when they engage.
This is fine. Again, because we have Lucio, you can just retreat really fast. But even if you didn't have Lucio, I'm okay with you taking the high ground. Taking the high ground is a fine idea. In fact, your entire team should be with you.
Our Ash baited out bubble, That's I was like, yes, we baited out our personal.
I don't think you can go aggressive without the team though. Like even your Lucio is not with you, which is pretty bad. But I would just be like, taking the high ground, yeah, good idea. Ideally, like your Zarya would be with you, right? Everyone would be with you. Maybe Lucio can move the payload, or maybe Ash can move the payload, or maybe Soldier can move the payload. But you leave one person with the payload, everyone else just clears the high ground, and then we have the positional advantage on them, right? Because this high ground is actually just really good position. You basically control the entire point. Yep.
What if they move back and play around that? Do you see where that poster thing is near the far back? No, not the emerald.
That one?
Down there. What if they play DPS down there, for example?
If they play here, you just play here. Or here. If you can go aggro, you go aggro, but usually you don't want to go that aggro, you just play here and let the payload move. Because if their DPS are playing here, they have a very hard time contesting the payload. they will have to engage eventually, and they will have to choose chase you off the high ground, or they will have to drop and take another route. Because with you holding this, they really can't take this to contest the payload as it moves. And honestly, you just hold here until they drop or until they try to contest the payload. Then you can drop if you want to or punish whoever. But
And that's what you kind of want, anyways. If you want them to drop down in a way.
yeah, ideally, you taking the high ground is basically I push forward, they just get out because they can. If my your team seems to be coming with you now, so if my team is with me and they have 3 people here, I just go forward and they drop, and then if I have to, I can drop or I can just stay here and prepare to fight. But of course, having the high ground gives you more options. It's free cover. It's really good, right? In general, having the high ground is better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you just clear the high ground, they drop or they back out, then you just hold here and let the payload move. You are getting free payload movement, right? When they decide to contest, you can just drop here and contest the payload, maybe here. You can drop here if they decide to contest around this angle, and you can drop here if they decide to contest.
It's like a mini Winston, man.
Kinda, yeah. You can choose to drop whatever you want. Playing a little defensive.
Holding this high ground so adamantly?
Because
my intention wasn't to hold the high ground.
If you win the high ground, you basically win the next fight right now because this high ground is such a big advantage for both of your hit scan as well. That if you just hold this high ground, both of your hit scan can just flank this way, get shots from the back line. It's really good for hit scan. So if I were them, I would be like, yeah, I'm not giving the high ground up.
Yeah.
Here though, I would just be like, if we have a Lucio, I think your Lucio is actually moving the payload. Yeah, but
yeah,
on the case, I would just have been like, they use bubble, we can rush the Reinhardt down. Like
Rein.
the Mora is right here, but they don't have bubble, and we have a high charge area, so we can just run forward and kill them as soon as the bubble is over. The problem is we don't really have Lucio, and you do end up giving a lot of room, and they're also committing ultimate. So I'm like, yeah.
What can we do though? You know what I mean? I had to give up that high ground. What am I gonna do with me and Zarya by herself? Because they have a DPS on the high ground.
What you usually want to do is you just hold here. You don't give up the entire high ground so that they cannot chase you back. But I don't think you could have stayed on the high ground. Like, you try to contest it and they committed to the high ground, which is fine from them. Then you back out and you hold here, where it's basically Rein's area versus Rein's area, and your DPS can usually help a lot more than their DPS can. But right now,
I didn't see their DPS. I thought like a good majority. Like what I think is like Rein. If I was, let's say I'm the DPS, right, and I play McCree for example, I see my Rein and my Zarya like on the high ground. I'm like, oh shit, they're on the high ground. Let me join them. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but McCree in particular is a brawl hero. Like McCree wants to be on top of you, whereas Soldier can just be behind you, and Ash usually wants to take a different angle. Like if you're Ash just playing here, or like she was actually playing here, which is again pretty good because if they push forward, she can shoot at behind them, right?
I didn't pay attention to my Ash.
Like your Ash was playing right here, and she's chased out by well played. Your Ash was playing here and shooting behind them. Like hold on, we can just go back and look at that. Look at your Ash. Where is she right now? There she is. She takes a high ground and she shoots behind the shield, and then she gets chased out of the cage. That's your Soldier.
Oh, greetings.
He went to duel their Ash, which is fine. Like Soldier is good taking off angles. Like he's trying to take this angle, I believe, to again shoot behind them, which is again fine. Like if he manages to take this, he can shoot behind them. If he decides to go for the entire rotation and shoot from behind him from here, that's also fine. Probably miss time because at that point you probably already lose the fight, but both ideas are good. And the general idea is, yeah, you don't have to chase them off the high ground by yourself. Like your Ash is helping, your Soldier is helping, your message with your Ash, of course, and Lucio just moving the payload for free push.
I guess my mindset was like I didn't see anybody behind me, but that's why I didn't engage. I guess like, if there's something I can improve on, I must be wary of what my DPS's positions would be.
Yeah, or where they, at the very least, where they have to be, right? Like, you shouldn't expect Soldier and Ash to play behind you. Soldier and Ash are best when they are playing on offense and trying to shoot behind the shield. Because otherwise, you just be playing McCree and try to damage the shield. Like, If you're gonna play with your tanks anyway, usually one McCree is kind of choice because he does more damage up close and has stun. He can help with breaking shields, right? Pretty good. But Soldier and Ash, yeah, they're better off with off angles, high ground. They want to shoot around the shields, not at the shields. Anyway, they just played probably a lost fight at this point. Like, if we had beat, we could have survived, but without beat, yeah, you can maybe commit your shatter to stop it, but we already lost Ash, so I'm like,
We've already lost, yeah.
just
I would
die.
have happily shattered that.
Just die. Just die. Don't shield. Just die on the. If you die as fast as you can, you just regroup as fast as you can. Just die. Like, this has been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 seconds that you didn't have to waste. You just go forward and die.
Yeah, true.
That's minor, right? It allows, like, you can see your entire team is alive and you're still respawning. So it's like 3 or 4 seconds you could have come back faster. It's not a big thing, but everything helps. The only exception, of course, is Zarya, because Zarya keeps her charge, so Zarya does want to get out if she can, and Zarya will try to get out every fight, but with Rein, you don't get any advantage from staying alive. In fact, if you die, your shit resets, so...
Yeah.
I guess now we are
Here,
looking to
I saw a
shut up.
bubble.
Okay. So I'm guessing you are looking to shatter. They use an ult, right? They use Paul last to when the fight on point happened. So we are basically even on ults. I'll just be like, with Rein Zarya, you usually win fights when you use your ultimates first, right? If you're playing Rein Zarya, you want to ultimate first because you just get more value. If you get a shatter before they do, it's a 1-5. If you get the grab before they do, it's usually a 1-5. They can counter grab. That's about it. So in either case, you really want to grab first, or use your ultimates first in general. Because when you're playing Rein Zarya, using your ults first will win you the fight. So long as you get value out of them. Like, if you just throw the shatter at a shield because you're like, I have to use it first, and he's holding his shield, then you're like, yeah, don't do that. But in general, if you manage to get value out of your ultimates first, you will win the fight. They use Bob. Holding the corner is fine. You can just hold here and wait for Bob to go away. They grab. Holding the shield is probably the right idea. You can try to shatter grabs if they try to run at you, but at this rank I expect ranks to know that and hold their shield, so I'm like, yeah, you can try to shatter both, maybe. Hold on. You do go for the shatter, actually. And yeah, Rein is just holding the shield. So we don't get value out of shatter. Which, I don't think it's the wrong idea. I don't think it's the wrong idea, you just have to know. It's a decision you have to make in the moment. Like, if the Rein is looking at you and holding his shield, you don't want to shatter. If the Rein goes, oh crap, I'm gonna go aggressive, then you shatter. You have to observe how the Rein is behaving. And in this case, like, just...
He's very passive.
Yeah, just look at him here. They just grab.
He's playing defensively on purpose.
And yeah, the Rein... Yeah, he knows you got shatter, he knows that if he goes aggro, you will use it. You will use it, right? So he's like, I'm just gonna hold the shield. He doesn't drop the shield like at any point. So I don't think I can shatter him at this point. I just go, okay, we die to the grab and come back with our own grab, right? Yeah, fight is lost. Fight is lost. Again, just die as fast as you can. Don't worry about Genji, by the way. Like, you usually want to fight the front line. You don't want to look at flankers. But yeah, we just regroup here. You get out, which is fine. It's like, the only person who could have gotten ultra off of you is probably a little bit of Zarya, but usually take those trades anyway. Like, dying 5 seconds faster for like what might have been like 250 health. It's like 5 to 10% charge. It's usually worth it to regroup a little bit faster. Especially because it's not only Zarya that's gonna kill you, it's gonna be like, Zarya's gonna do some damage, but also Rein, who already has his ult, is gonna do some damage, Genji's gonna do some damage, Ashe is probably gonna do some damage. It's not like all 10% charge goes to the same person. . Still jumping to get closer here is fine. Remember though, because we have Lucio and they don't, we can just walk this way, prepare here, and then just speed on them, right? Again, if you can go aggressive, especially because we have grab, we can just go aggressive on them, grab them. Be careful because Rein has Shatter, of course. But then we go aggressive on the grab, and we just kill whatever's on the grab. Because we have Lucio and they don't, we can literally just run on top of them. Hello,
I have a question about Lucio, right?
Yeah.
Basically, right? Like the best way to amp it up and speed onto the enemy team is to set yourself up, get ready, and then go in. Like you wouldn't expect me to just speed, right? Like fall
Yeah, I
down
would
straight
not.
away.
The ideal way to rotate is again going from cover to cover. So you imagine they're holding here, right? So we go up here where we don't really take a lot of damage because, well, if they're holding here, maybe someone's on the high ground doing a little bit of damage, but other than that, I wouldn't expect you to be losing a lot of resources here. But I would just move here and wait here until all of my resources were ready. It may not be a lot of time because again, I wouldn't expect you to take a lot of damage if you just do this, right? But
Yeah,
I would wait
I
here
get it.
on
I
this
get it.
corner. He's really quiet. Oh, I can raise him up. Can you say something for chat?
Testing, testing. Shimada Dragon, 1, 2, 3. Do you
Is that
copy,
good
chat?
enough?
Over.
Hopefully that's good enough. Okay, so I wouldn't expect you to take a lot of damage here, but yes, if you have to wait here until you have your resources, you should just wait here until you have your resources, because again, corners are still quiet. He's at max. Well, I can just raise him
Oh,
on Discord, I guess.
can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you fine.
Sign. Oh, I don't
Who's
know,
not raised
man.
on Discord? Hold on. Say something now.
I want to confirm if my voice is clear. Tell me, good chat. Can you hear me?
All right, let's see
It's
if that
good.
works. I've raised you a lot. Volume is fine. Okay, good.
Nice.
Right, let's continue.
Enjoy the
So
VOD, chat.
yeah, let's just go with where were we? Oh yeah, here. You can just hold here, right? You don't have to go aggressive. You can just wait here until everyone, both of your bosses are the same level. Okay. Um, I'll just hold here until I have all of my resources, all of my shield, all of my health, which shouldn't take you very long because again, I will not expect you to take a lot of damage just doing this. Stick by the wall, get here, we have full resources. Then we call speed forward 3, 2, 1, we go on them. They don't have a Lucio, so they cannot get out. We just run at them and kill them.
I have a question. Do you know when I run at the Rhine with this like speed? Do I just swing at him once I reach him, or do I intend to go for his backline and swing there? Like, what would you expect a Rhine to do when you amp?
Just go at the Rein,
What's
yeah.
the ideal?
Ideally, you want to determine who has used their resources on the front line. Like if the Zarya doesn't have a personal bubble and she's not playing on top of the Rein, I'll be like, yeah, we can run at the Zarya and kill the Zarya, right? If the Zarya playing behind the Rein and she's got her bubble, then I would wait for her to use the friendly and then run at the Rein instead, because the shield behind, if she's behind the Rein, the shield will block most of the damage, especially from your Zarya, right? So it depends. It's not a clear answer. I would usually go for whoever you think is most vulnerable and whoever you think you are more likely to kill.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because if Zarya is playing here and Rein is playing here and she uses the personal, she's very vulnerable. Especially without a Lucio, she can't really get away from us. So I would just be like, yeah, we speed onto the Rein,
I
onto the
never,
Zarya and kill her. But if she's
I
playing
never
here,
understood the value of resources. Now that you mention, it's like I never paid attention to the enemy Zara using her bubbles and how she uses it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like as soon
this
as personal bubbles gone, go in. You know?
this is something I learned during the Ghost meta. Ghost was really really important for that. Like because I'm gonna humble brag here. I was really good at watching.
Go ahead.
I was really good at watching what resources the enemy team would use. I played Zarya as well, but for the record, I was pretty good at
Hmm.
watching what resources the enemy team would use, and I would keep track of Brigitte packs and Lucio speed, even Lucio amp and Zarya bubbles and the run shield, and sometimes we would win fights even when we were down a person because we went aggressive when they didn't have any resources to make up for it. Like my coach usually used to say this is something that's very hard and you're doing very naturally. So I was very proud of that in particular. But in
Yeah,
goats
man.
especially, it was basically a game of resource management, right? In goats, the more resources you use, the less staying power you have. So you really wanted to use your resources second as much as possible. This goes for the Lucio,
Yeah.
the Moira heals or the uh, Sanyata or whatever, right? Whatever variation of coach you're running, you wanted to use your resource second, so that when they run out of a resource, you just run at them and press your advantage.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
it's
see
usually
what you
really
mean.
good.
Thank you. Good,
It's usually
interesting
really good
story. Thank
manners,
you as
really
well on that.
good. It's no problem. Usually good, really good to keep track of what resources the enemy frontline has wasted, because you as a frontline are basically going up against their frontline. Goats was basically all frontline, right? But basically, if you have your full shield and both of your bubbles, and they have full shield but no bubbles, or maybe half shield, or maybe no bubbles in general, just run at them because you have both bubbles, which is 400 HP, and you have your shield and they don't, or whatever advantage you can press. If you can speed on top of them, you speed on top of them and press your advantage. Like playing Rein's area is basically, at least playing Rein's area into Rein's area is a game of resources as well.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like this, we go aggro because we use grab really. We use pop as well. You block the shatter, which is good, and we
That
use
was
Desperate
kind of what
Scroll.
I was scared of as well. Like they grabbed. It's just how he played the mind game on me. I know he has shatter. I had to just
Yeah, you don't have to go very aggressive, but remember, if you don't fire strike, if he has shatter, don't fire strike the grab, because then you'll get shatter.
100%.
But
You're
you can
stuck in the
start a
animation.
swing because you always have time. Like if your reaction time is good enough, you can go off the voice hand and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna block the shatter at the reaction time. So you can swing, like this is fine. You don't have to hold your shield forever on the front line. It's fine. Swinging into grab is definitely the right idea. Just don't run at the grab and be like, lol, I'm just gonna charge or fire strike or whatever if the Rein has shatter. But yeah, this is the right idea.
Yeah.
Then you block shatter, which is good. And at this point, we use 3 ults, so we should win. Like we got a pick, we have Bob on the front line. They use shatter and co, but the Mora is dead. They use Fog as well. So we are even in ultimates, which is good, but we are winning the fight. We got the pick. And don't worry about the Genji.
Yes, sir.
Genji's not your job. You are abandoning your front line. You should be pushing,
I
right?
had a feeling that my front line, like my team would have the front line. While I tried to kill that Genji, I would have instantly turned back if I couldn't kill him anyways.
Uh, it's the two things. First, the reason I'm telling you not to abandon the front line a lot is because not to abandon the front line a lot is because Rein has very low range and very bad mobility. So whenever you have a flanker behind you, it's not your job because you cannot actually kill them.
Chase them.
It's not very
Yeah.
efficient for you to turn around and try to kill a flanker. Like in this case, Genji can just double jump attack at high ground, and you are forced to take all of these around to even chase him. Or you can dash away, right? Or even I don't know if you knew this, but Tracer and Genji actually have a faster movement speed than everyone else in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone was the same.
No, Tracer and Genji are the exception. Everyone else moves at 5.5 meters per second forward,
And
and
ball.
Genji and Tracer moves 6 meters per second forward. And Genji and Tracer, hold on, how do I do an ampersand? There you go. Genji and Tracer move 5.5 backwards, whereas everyone else moves 5 backwards. So this is why Genji and Tracer are actually very effective as flankers. No matter how hard you chase him, even if he's looking away from you, you will never catch a Genji by moving normally. Like he has a natural speed advantage over you. Genji moves faster than you by default. So you will never catch a Genji, you will never catch a Tracer. Especially with Rein, who does like literally melee range damage. Like if you have Zarya or Sigma or someone who has a little bit more range, maybe you can try to chase them, because if they try to get away, you still have the range to get them, right? But with Rein, the only range you have is Fire Strike. So I'm like, unless you can hit a miraculous Fire Strike onto the Genji, he's probably gonna get away from you. And yeah, you have to come back to the front line. Genji's just behind us, we have to give him up. And yeah, we could have killed more people here. Hold on, let's look at the front line. While you are away, let's look at the front line. So we block Charter, we go away to deal with the Genji. Look at this, okay? Our front line pushes. We are one person up. Mercy gets out, go for the rest. Because she's stressing the Moira. She doesn't get the rest, it's cancelled, lucky for us. But our front line doesn't really push them. You should have been here, by the way. At this point, when the Rein died, I wish I'd push forward instead of going for the Genji. We could have killed this area very easily. Again, remember, we have a Lucio, and they don't, so long as we are playing with the Rein, we can push forever, and we have a shield, now they don't either. So it's literally free kills for us. We just kill the Zarya, then we maybe kill the Ashen Mercy, but the Zarya will be dead. And killing the Zarya is very important. Like, what's your charge?
I have a question. Like, my thought is the reason why you would be there with Lucio is because you can outpace them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're all together chasing after one guy, there's absolutely no way he can outrun you unless he's got a mobility ability like Genji.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just dashes away.
Like that's why I'm saying maybe Ashe will get away from you, maybe Mercy may get away from you, because if Ashe takes the high ground, you as Rein cannot chase them. But especially knowing that they have a Lucio, that we have a Lucio and they don't, you can push forever, and they will never run away from you so long as your Lucio is with you. So I would be like, yeah, I just go forward. We got 2 kills, right? We killed the Rein, we killed the Moira. This fight is won. I just run them over. Like, where's your Lucio? Your Lucio's right here. I would just be like, yeah. I assume you had comms at this level. I would just be like, go aggressive. Yes. Zarya. Zarya has no personal even. So if you are here pushing forward, I would be like, yeah, just kill the Zarya. You and Zarya are enough to kill a Zarya. She can't escape you. You have the speed advantage. So yeah, just kill the Zarya. And because you're not here, she just gets away.
Yes, true.
And she has full charge. So you could have at the very least received.
Oh my days! Oh my god! You're so right. What am I doing?
So yeah,
my mind is in fucking full sky Industries, not in this game. Goodness gracious me.
Don't get me wrong. If you see someone behind you, and it's like McCree or I don't know, someone without any mobility, you can try to go for them because Rein is actually very difficult to beat on a 1v1 up close, right? But if it's someone with any mobility, then you really just give them up, because with any mobility, you can't really chase them as Rein. Maybe throw the fire strike at them, try to get a good fire strike, but usually just want to be in the front line because you don't have any range. And that's the general problem with Rein, by the way, because he doesn't have any range. Like, closing the distance becomes the problem. Like, the idea of I think I've already explained this. The idea with Rein is closing the distance without while using as few of your resources as possible. So you want to have as much health as you can, as much shield as you can when you close the distance. That's why Lucio is basically an essential as well. If you're running at someone and you have to make this rotation, you want to do it as fast as possible. Lucio helps a lot with that. And you want to use as few resources as possible while making the rotation as well. So you just coordinate the arm speed, you get here, you wait for the resources, then you move forward, right? You go from corner to corner. Because you don't want to get to them and have like half shield, half health. You don't have the same pressure if you have half shield, half health, right? Rein is most effective if you can be on top of the enemy with full health and full shield. Then you just kind of go like crazy. At this point, we're pushing payload. I'd like you to be a little bit further forward. You are moving forward, it's fine. We're going forward.
I don't see them. I'm like, are they coming back from spot? Until I see that, I'm like, oh shucks, they're all on high ground.
This is fine. You can just play below the bridge. They will drop. Yeah. Like again, if you play on the high ground, you can drop wherever. This is what I was saying. They can drop wherever, which is ideal. But they will have to drop to contest the payload. Like, if they're also playing Rein, especially, they will have to drop to contest the payload. Like, they can't just let the payload go around.
But wouldn't that confuse the team? Like, look at their Zarya. Like, she's admiring the poster, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, isn't these types of engagements a bit risky?
This is actually really good, but the Rein drops slightly early. Like, having the Zarya hold the high ground is pretty good, because again, the Zarya can just drop wherever she wants to. She doesn't have to stay here forever. But he should have waited until the Zarya was in position. I think Zarya is trying to take the bridge, right? And when you go forward, like, okay, hold on. Let's say that you guys were going forward like this to meet the Rein over here, right? If the Zarya is here, she just gets to damage to you and everyone behind the shield for free. And she can still see the Rein to pop the Rein, and if she needs to, she can just drop and be with the Rein immediately. But having the high ground like this and being able to shoot behind the Rein shield is a big advantage. The problem is that the Rein dropped too early, or they didn't coordinate it enough, because the Zarya is still mid-rotation.
Not to mention, he's by himself, absolutely by himself
right now. The Rein basically dropped, and he doesn't have anyone to play with him except for Moira, who is on the high ground, and Zarya. Like Genji, Ashe, and Mercy will not be with Rein. So if I were playing Rein, if I were third Rein, I would just be like, I'm just gonna wait here and probably drop at the last second possible, like around this corner, because I can play very defensive here. My team has the high ground, and all I have to do is last for as long as I can, while my Ashe gets shots from above, my Genji goes on the flank, my Zarya does damage from above as well. Because in your team, no one can really chase this area of the high ground, right? Like, you have no tanks that can create space. If one of your DPS try to contest this area, especially because she still probably has high charge, she will be able to 1v1 both Soldier and Ashe without any problem. So you can get the area off the high ground. You can maybe contest the DPS on the high ground, but they can just play with cover and do a lot of damage. So all the enemy Rein has to do is drop here and contest the payload for as long as he can, while his team gets a lot of value from like every different angle. And you, as Rein, will probably go aggressive on the Rein, and the Rein may even die because he's alone, right? Or maybe with Moira. But he's done what he wanted to do because his team has been getting immense amounts of value by shooting around you. But yeah, the Rein drops alone. At this point, I would be like, just speed into the Rein. At this point, he's in a bad position, like in the middle of the. He should be playing like around the corner here, just waiting. He's in the middle of the road without anyone to help him. He doesn't have a Lucio to get out. I would just be like, run at the Reinhardt. Speed forward, swing, swing. Yeah. Yeah, he should just die.
And he's dead. I honestly said, I called this out. I was like, what's this Rein doing?
Go.
Why is he by his wands?
He's still there. Just swing and fire strike. He's dead. Fire. You should keep chasing. Are you backing out? Yeah, you're backing out here. Just keep chasing the Rein. You have so many advantages right now. Like, you have
look
full
where my
health,
team is.
full shield. This is fine. Like, Moira cannot damage you, and Mercy cannot damage you. And if the Rein tries to damage you, he's exposing himself, right? And you're basically, by taking this duel, you are taking a 1v3 duel, where you're basically just taking the attention of both of the supports for a very long time. This is, even if you don't win this, which I still think you could, because you have, again, full health, full shield, and he's like 200 health, I would think you can still win this. But my main idea is, yeah, if I keep hitting the Rein, both Moira and Mercy are gonna be. Mercy, I believe, does 50 healing per second, or it may have gotten buffed to 55. It's not a lot. Yeah, it's 55 now. But yeah, Mercy does 55 healing per second. Moira does 70 plus 30 over 2 more seconds. So it's reasonable. It's reasonable amounts of healing if they're both healing the Rein. But if you keep doing damage, you do 85 damage per second, which is not more than the 130 healing output. But if they heal for 50 a second, because, well, 45 between 130 and 85, 45, they will have to full heal the Rein. It's gonna be like 10 seconds. So you can take this 1v1. Yeah. You can take this 1v1 for like 6 seconds, probably without a problem. And in that time, your team has, well, these two to worry about. Genji and Ashe, and maybe Zarya, who's going on a flank. But they're all basically without healing, without support. And, well, without...
Yeah, because I'm the one taking it.
Yeah. Without the Rein as well, so they have no shield. So yeah, I would have definitely pressed forward. Like, the Rein was so low, both of the supports just have to keep healing him. Neither of them can stop healing the Rein, because, well, he just dies if they do. Because you do more damage than they can heal by themselves. And the Rein was very low. And at that time, your team is basically taking a 5v3. They should just win that. You come back. We give the Rein up. We go for the Genji instead. The Genji does die, but we've lost 2 at this point. And the Rein is back with full shield, full health. So at this point, we are at a disadvantage. We have 1 person down, right? They
And
even rest the person who
would
went
you
out.
say that I was of problem? Like I contributed to this?
I would say that you're not the fault. Like your soldier died because he lost the 1v1 to Genji, right? That's not your problem. That's not your fault. By the way, Genji without any healing while he's got Mercy and Lucio with him. But I would say you could have gotten a lot more value if you had just stayed on the Rein and give your team more space and more time to work with. So
When would I disengage? Like when would I know to disengage?
you
What
don't.
signs or
You
do I have
you
to
literally
keep track
don't.
of?
Like if in this situation, I would just go as aggressive as I can to try to buy my team as much time as possible. Because if I keep the Ryan, the Moira, and the Mercy busy for like 5 seconds or 6 seconds, my team should win the fight in that time. Like a 5 people versus going for a Genji and Dash and Zarya, I would expect them to win. I'm usually of the mindset
I
that
get that.
my
But
team
what
will
if I
always
make
do
a
the right
mistake,
thing.
brother? When I say make a mistake, what if I don't like what if let's say I take this advice, yeah, and I engage on the Reinhardt and I die doing it, right? Like how could I prevent the death, for example, if I want to make this type of play? What do I need to look out for? Here was a perfect example,
Yeah, this is
but how
clearly
did
a
you know
perfect
that I
case
should have
when
won
Ryan was
itself?
100 HP and both of the supports were pocketing him and he was away from everyone else in his team. So this is a perfect example of when you can trade your attention for basically 3 of the enemy. Usually it's a lot more complicated, right? Because Ryan will have like one support and we be with its team and all of the team will be together. So going aggressive usually pays off if you can put as much pressure on the enemy as you can without dying. That's the general idea of Rein. And of course, if you can get kills, that's even better. So if you can guarantee a kill, that's good. But usually what you want to do is put as much pressure on the enemy tanks as you can without dying. And as for how
Yeah.
to realize when that's the situation, you really have to just develop a game sense for it because, well, in this case, I'm like, yeah, just go for it. It's only Rein, Mercy, and Moira, and the Rein's under 100 health. So I'm like, just go aggressive. He's got no one near
I
him.
guess
Zarya's
so.
inside, Genji and Ash are on the high ground, and I'm like, yeah, you can push. Maybe if the Rein is less than 100 health, but with the entire team around him, I would not be as aggressive because, well, yeah, he's low health, but he's got his entire team's damage with him. He's probably got a bubble. If I go aggro, I will take a lot of damage.
You know,
So
this is what I'm afraid of. Like, fair enough. Like that was a good play. Like that was a semi decent play from me, but I didn't execute it fully from going full aggressive to him.
you
But
didn't commit to it.
like I'm
Like the
saying,
idea was good, and honestly, you still got a ton of value. Like it wasn't for as long as possible, but you still distracted Ryan for about 3 seconds, which is pretty decent. Like again, 2 seconds out of time in Overwatch. And
mm-hmm.
I usually get my confidence. I usually just assume my team will do the right thing. That's how I get the confidence to play main deck. I'm like, if I create the space, my team will follow up, right? Especially if I'm calling it. I'm like, yeah, I got the Ryan. I got Ryan, Mercy, and Moira. Go, 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 go. And I would trust that my team would just go aggro and run whoever's left over. So my
Yeah,
confidence comes from, well, I just trust that my team will do the right thing, and they don't always do the right thing, but that's fine. No one plays perfect all of the time. So I'm like, my
yeah, I
my
see.
confidence is like, if I'm creating space and my team can capitalize on it, we will win the fight. Even if I die, because again, I value creating space and time more than my life as a main tank. Like there was this meme that if you are being like a little while ago, if you are playing Rein or main tank and being stunned a million times, you are doing your job, and that's correct. If the enemy uses all of the resources to keep you stunned, then you are having an awful time and you are getting CC'd. You cannot play the game. You are dying every fight, but you are doing your job, right?
Yeah, I guess.
The same goes like right now. Ball Tracer is the meta because Ball can go in and take a lot of their attention, take a lot of their resources. The goal is not to kill people with Ball. It's very difficult to actually confirm a kill by engaging at least with Ball. The idea is I just go and try to bait. For example, if they have a McCree, I try to bait the stun. I try to bait the Brigitte shield bash, right? If I bait them out, my Tracer can go in after me safely and she can get a lot of value. The idea of playing main tank is not I'm gonna get as many kills as I can. but I'm gonna do what I have to do to make sure my team can capitalize on my actions.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's the best feeling of a main tank player, anyways. Just knowing you've done your job, like you provided a lot of space for your team. It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
Hence the reason why I play main tank.
yeah, it's good. Here, again, I would like, at this point, you have to go aggressive. Remember, the longer the fight goes on, the more, because they have more healing, the harder it becomes for us. Because, again, they have, we said, 155 and 70, about 125 healing per second, right? From Mercy and Moira. And we've
Mm-hmm.
got 55 and 30, so our healing is actually only 85. So it's not very good. And if we are on healing with Lucio, we don't have speed either. So we will usually only have 55 healing per second for the from the Mercy, which is not even AOE, because remember, Moira can heal multiple people at once, Mercy cannot. So this 125 can actually become 195 or 265 very easily. Moira is healing more than 1% at once, right?
Yeah.
So the idea again is we just have to go aggressive and do as much damage as we can to try to win the fight as fast as possible. In this particular case, like I feel like I've frozen it on the perfect image. We have a Lucio using beat, and now we have a Reaper who's coming back, but still, instead of a soldier, having a Reaper means that you really just want to go forward and press mouse one on them, because, well, you're on console, right? So it's not mouse one,
Yeah.
but just fire at
It's
them.
left analog stick.
Just fire
Oh,
at them.
mouse one, so R2. To swing,
Actually,
right?
yeah, one of the triggers. Yeah, just swing at them, because now that you have a Reaper, your front line has a lot more damage than their front line, because Reaper does like a lot of damage close range, right? If you are moving
Mm-hmm.
forward with your Reaper and your Zarya, you are putting so much pressure on the enemy team that they will not be able to stay alive. Even with the Moira, and now that because they don't have a Lucio, you can close this distance really quick, and they cannot get away from you. So the idea is, your Reaper's not back yet. Like your Reaper's just coming back now. But the idea is, yeah, just here we're going with beat, so we go aggressive. But in general, when you have a Lucio, you want to go aggressive, unless they have a Lucio, especially when you have less healing. And now that your frontline is more damaged, like even if this was a McCree, even if this was, I don't know, maybe a Mei, which is not more damage, but she can basically create the barrier to isolate people. Anyone who can help you on the front line, if you consider you've got a better front line than they do, you just go aggressive, because,
Yeah.
well, you just kill them. And that becomes twice as true when you have a Lucio, because you can go aggressive and chase up, but they cannot go aggressive on you. Like if they try to
Yeah.
move at you, you just go, Lucio, back us out, and they will never close the distance. That's the general idea of playing with. That's why Lucio is so good with Rein Zarya, because if you have a Lucio and the other team don't, you can basically dictate every fight. That's it. You can just dictate the engagement. You can choose when the fights happen. It becomes a lot easier to just engage on them. Here, you are probably looking for Shatter. They use grab, they use. And again, you can see that we were taking the fight slowly here. Did our beat not come through? Oh, I guess you didn't get beat.
I didn't get the beat, no. I don't know where our Lucio beat it.
No, you did get beat. It just went away quickly, I think.
I wonder how.
Hold on. You did get beat. You were just very low. Like at this point,
Oh.
most of our health is shields right now. So we go aggressive with the beat, and we are taking a lot of damage. And yeah, we just don't have enough health to sustain here. And then we take a long fight, which means that their Mora is topping the Rein and the Zarya off much faster than our Mercy can top you off. You can see that your health is basically still at half, and his health is already full. This is really why you don't want to take long fights when they have more healing than you do. They grab, they bob, we just lose the fight and reset. That you can see what I mean, right? Like they didn't need to have this. Like they played it for no reason basically, but So in either case,
And
what
they
I'm telling you
bobbed
is,
for no reason too.
I think Bob is fine. Like confirming the kills, like maybe they thought they didn't have enough damage when they used Bob. Like no one was dead yet, and we hadn't used grab yet. I think Bob is okay. Then we grab, and at this point I would be like, we use Bob. Sorry, we use Bob. We use grab. Unless we use some ult, like unless we grab, I don't think we need the blade, and we just played for no reason. I think the Genji was actually like, lol, crap, I played.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Oh
Yeah,
wait, where is he going?
he just dashed
Oh,
to grab and then went to chase the Ash.
my guy is fucking alpha. Look at him dashing through the corridor trying to get solo Ash on cleanup squad. Let's go.
It's fine. Like at that point, yeah, just die. We regroup, which is fine. We take the high ground here. We should take the high ground here. And again, remember, now that we have a Reaper and we still have Illusion, they don't, you just run forward at them and we shouldn't win the fight. Like, they use so many ults last fight that we have an ult advantage, even though we were down on ult economy very recently. Pushing main is not the best idea. Like, again, I would just take high ground. Like, the Rein is holding here basically by himself. Because the Zarya is on front line. If you come here with your Rein and your Zarya, Rein has no option but to drop, right?
I guess what I think there is, I don't like to take high ground because it just confuses my team. It's like people are going to see other DPSs to fight. I'm going to drop down, right? I might be by myself because I didn't time it correctly. It's like everyone's going to see frontline and then we'll just push through. That's what I think.
It's still the best idea. Like, don't count
It's
on
going to
people
create
making
confusion.
mistakes.
That's why.
I usually go like I literally just said this. I usually play my mindset around. Well, if I do the right thing, then my team will come with me, right? They will do the right thing as well. Especially if I call it. I can say like, I'm clearing high ground. Let's go. I can tell my team, yeah, we're clearing the high ground, and then I can call it. I'm dropping on payload, and my team can play around that. I can be like, okay, I'm going high ground. Okay, high ground is clear. Dropping on payload. 3, 2, 1, dropped. And my team can play around that, right?
Yeah.
So long as you call it, and so long as you're not making like extremely bad decisions, you should be fine. And again, clearing the high ground is the right idea because they don't even have the Zarya right now. If you had just pushed
And they
the
have
high
Ash
ground,
on high ground too.
Yeah, they're basically forced to drop. Then you have Ash on the high ground. Your Zarya can again, Zarya on the high ground is really good, especially on these kind of points because if she needs to, she can just drop. But if she doesn't have to, she can just get damage around the Rein shield, right?
Yeah.
And Zarya does a high amount of damage, so she can get a lot of damage through the Rein shield. We shatter here. This is actually I like the shatter. All you have to do is go aggressive at the Genji. Remember, because we have Lucio, we just call shatter boost me forward. But even if we don't, having an Ash and a Zarya, this Genji is basically dead. So
There's
this
one thing that I
basically
felt bad about, which you told me. It's like you shouldn't shatter at low health. You know, my armor's gone on my health, so I felt like
right,
this was a
but in
bad
this
shatter.
case, like you are under no threat. Threat is also a consideration. Like if you shatter at this health, when the enemy is looking at you and everyone's seeing you because you're in the front line, you probably die. In this case, like there's literally no one shooting at you, so it's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also got the bubble, but that doesn't really matter. My point is, who's gonna kill you or stun you or do anything to you, even if you have a half health right now? Like the Ash is not in a position to shoot you. The Rein is just dropping. No one. The Moira's all the way back here. You actually almost got the Moira, by the way. The Zarya is
Oh,
all the way back there.
what's she doing there?
I have no idea. But,
She's probably gonna try and take high ground most likely.
yeah, she actually, especially considering her team was in the high ground, probably. But now her team is dropping, so she's actually a full rotation behind. Or in the case, yeah, I like this. Like, you don't even have to. I don't think you have Fire Strike. Like, if you had Fire, yeah, we don't have Fire Strike right now. If you had Fire Strike, it would be basically a guaranteed kill. You just have to Fire Strike him, and then Zarya or Ash will just definitely get a little bit of damage in, and he dies.
I have a question. What if
yes.
I pin into the Genji, and obviously Ryan's instinct is going to be to counter pin, and then I pin him between both of us, and we both go down, but I'm the one with the pick.
I would not pin
Would
this
that be
Genji.
alright?
Like in this situation, I'm pretty confident my team can just kill the Genji. And if I pin away from my team and into the enemy team, I may just give him especially considering I just got my personal bubble, I may just be giving my life. Like, imagine I pin,
No,
right?
but like Rein will counterpin. Rein has to counterpin. You know?
Even if he
Like,
counterpins, like, imagine he counterpins and you both end up here, right? Then Ash has a free shot on you. Rein can swing at you. Zarya should be coming at some point. We don't know where the Zarya is. And you're basically this far away from their team, but he's basically with his entire team already. So just positionally, I would not. And also, like if you get the pin on the Genji, the Rein doesn't really have to counter pin.
yeah, but it's instinct. He'll most likely do it.
Even
You
if
know
he
what I mean?
does, I would still like my guess would not be I just pin the Genji because I'm not even considering the Rein. Like my thought is the Rein is dropping, he may not have the instinct or the reaction or whatever. But even if he did, I do not want to be here against the entire enemy team when my team is all the way back here, right?
Yeah, not to mention we just use bubble too.
Yeah, especially considering you just use bubble. What would I do? I would just tell my Lucio, hey, we got a shatter, speed us forward. Zarya, Ash, if you had 5 strike, it would be ideal, but even if you don't, with Lucio, you can still close the distance and get one swing before he gets up. So I would just be like, yeah, Lucio, speed us forward. Shatter, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Shatter, Genji, go, go,
At
go.
least try.
This Genji's dead. Like, I don't even think you have to get a swing at him. I'm being generous by saying you have to go forward and kill him, but your team, like with Zarya and Nash, should just kill this down Genji with no shield. Where is your Zarya? Like, look at your Zarya. Your Zarya is already shooting at the Genji. Where is your Ash? Your Ash is this one. She's looking main. Genji got shattered, she will get a shot, right? Even though he's a little bit out of sight, maybe she can get the dynamite in even. But even Zarya alone can kill the Genji. So I would be like, yeah, this is a pick because the Rein is dropping. He cannot really go forward and protect him. And your Zarya, your Ash, especially your Mercy, even your Reaper, if he manages to close the distance, should kill this Genji. Like, look how fast you charged. Okay.
I guess, like I said, I was thinking of counterpin. I think the Rein would counterpin here.
Even if the Rein counterpins, he's already dead. Like I told you, your team can really follow up on the free pick really quickly if you call it out. I don't know if you called it out, but even if you didn't, the Genji's already dead. Like, there was no saving him. I know you probably pressed the charge button before you saw him dead, but you see my point now, right?
Yeah, now I'm setting
You don't
myself
really
up
have
with
to
death.
close the distance to kill him. He's probably just dead, and now you're just giving your position away. Also, you're going very... Charging is basically yelling, I'm going aggressive, right? And you don't have the health right now to go aggressive either. Like, you charge, Rein somehow misses you with the shatter? That's a little weird. I think you got lucky on that one. Perfect timing, I guess. Then you boop the Rein away.
I don't get oh, that's our Zarya though.
That's
I
your
thought
grab, yeah.
that...
This actually may still be a winnable fight, but you are you are dead here. I would be like, you're just dead. Even though, like, look at this. The Rein has lower health, and the Ash is grabbed, but my thoughts is still like, you are dead because you are so far away from your team, whereas the Rein is basically, their team is right here. Even the Ash is right here, so I'm like, you're basically just dead here. The fight may still be won. We got a pick already, and the Ash is probably dead as well, but you're just dead here. Like, they use coalescence to keep the Rein alive, and you die. The Ash should die. They use bow as well. Oh no, we use bow. Never mind. But yeah, you die. Reaper kills people on the grab. Maybe I won't fight at this point. This is really bad. No, no, right. He doesn't have blade. It's fine. Okay, ideally you don't want to lose the fight, but you know.
Yeah.
You get rest. Okay, now it's a winnable fight. Again, stop chasing the Genji, just go for the front line. Remember, you want to go really aggressive, like. Holding your shield is not gonna get you basically any value, like. At this point, they have Reaper. I don't expect to be pressing tab at all time to check, but of course the shield doesn't affect Genji, and it doesn't affect Reaper, so I'm like, we have to go aggressive and kill them. Also, our Zarya is coming back with D.Va now, so... We kill the Rein, we have to go aggressive.
I think what happened there was Zarya said, "Do you want bubble?" And I was okay, 3, 2, 1, and then I bubbled, then I swing. I was just waiting for it.
You don't even have to bubble at this point. I'll be surprised because you
Oh,
don't
wait.
even have the... Like, your Zarya died and
Wait,
now she's back on D.Va.
Wait, who got bubbled?
No one got bubbled. You don't even have Zarya anymore. Your Zarya died and she's on D.Va now.
Wait, am I branded?
Like, your Zarya just died and she was like, I have to come back faster, I'll go D.Va. Here's fine though. Like, here you're swinging. I'm fine with this. You're going aggressive. You kill the Rein. This is good. Now you shield for a second, but I don't want you to back up. Like, just hold behind the payload. Okay, this is okay. And now we go aggro again. Go aggro again. Like, you have full health now. There is no reason for you to be holding the shield. Just swing. Speed forward and swing, right? Because again, the longer you make this last, they have better respawns. They have more healing. They will win if you give them time.
I was just focusing on my like resource management, my health, you know.
Yeah, but
that's what I was so worried about.
Okay, hold on. Here you go low. I'm fine. Here you go defensive for a little bit. This is fine, right? Because your health is so low. Here we play defensive. We hold the shield. This is good, but fast forward a little bit, and now we have full health basically, right? At this point, I have to swing. My first thought is I have to go aggressive because if you play defensive, they have more health than you. They have more healing than you do, and at this point, their spawns are also a lot closer. So definitely at this point, I would be like, I have to go aggressive, right? Like the whole point of this, it has been because they have so much more healing, and we have a Lucio. Our plan has to be we go aggressive, we run at them, and we kill them. Only based off of that. Only because I know that we don't have enough healing to keep us up to a long fight, and they do. But I also know that we have a Lucio and they don't. So again, my thoughts are just like, we run at them with the Lucio, we run them over before their higher healing has a big impact.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Could you like do me a favor? Remember how we always do that Microsoft Paint thing?
Yeah.
Could we write down a few core issues for something to work on? Because honestly, like I say, I do take your advice well, and like I just have short memory span. If I could just see
it's fine. Yeah, I can do that. Here's the thing. I'm not certain what to tell you, other than it's very important for you to recognize what your team comp is good at and what your team comp is bad at.
Yeah, what I was necessarily thinking about was, well, number one, resources. Like, if you see that the enemy Zarya has used her bubbles,
both
of them, take advantage. Right, if you have health, swing. Like, I know it's so easy, but I have trouble learning. Like, just writing them down would be beneficial to me. And then last but not least, like, if you have Lucio, even if you don't amp it, you have the speed advantage and you can chase people down. Like, things like this. Or anything you think you may add on to, which could help me.
Yeah, just hold on. I think I have to make a whole custom scene for chat. So 1 second. There we go. Right, let's just open Paint. Can you see Paint? You should be able to.
Yes.
Right, so we go for, I don't know, red. So we said first, oh, this is so big. Where's the eraser?
Isn't it the middle one? Top middle one. Oh no, that's
No,
a
this is
brush,
just a
isn't it?
brush. Oh, this is the eraser. There you go. Right, so first we said resources. Right. We want. Oh fuck. That's what the
I
top
don't think
middle
I want
does, by the way.
that.
Let's go for the text. So first we said resource management.
Like, could you be a bit more specific as well? Like, put in brackets.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to. I
specific.
usually do that. I just want to. Which should be. Of course, by pressing your advantage, I mean. Uh, oh my god, what's going on? Cancel.
Are you from Italy by any chance?
I'm from Argentina. This is Spanish.
Argentina.
Yeah. Hold on. Where's the thing? Oh, I lost it. I'll just do another one. Sorry, chat. This is Caf. Um.
Track cooldowns,
You know,
like
team
shield.
positioning can
health.
be a good indicator. Like if the Zarya is overextended and she doesn't have bubble, she's very easy to kill, right?
Yeah. And like you said with the Lucio thing, like get your resources ready, group up in a preferably
corner,
like
yeah.
in a corner, and then speed on.
Yeah. So for second one, let's go resource management. For second one, let's go for So again, with what I mean with this is Lucio speed, of course, it's the one we talked about the most. But like I said, you had a Lucio Mercy, so you had low healing. You didn't have a frontline hero until the end.
Not to mention they didn't in the beginning as well.
Yeah, they didn't like for both.
They had an off angle and a flank.
Yeah, for both teams. Like you look not only at your team but also at their team. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we have Lucio speed and they don't. They have more healing, but we basically have we can exploit the resource management, right? So I'm like, Lucio speed.
Do you know
is
what
very
Star
important.
said?
What did he say?
Star always says that you should never look at your team's disadvantages and the enemy team's advantages. You should always look at your team's advantages and the enemy team's
Absolutely.
disadvantages.
Like this is what I'm telling you. You have to look at a little bit of both, right? Your advantage is definitely Lucio speed, but this is also the enemy team disadvantage, right? It's the same idea. If your team is playing with a
They don't
Lucio
have
and they
speed,
don't,
yeah.
but you also have to take into account that your team has a deficit in healing because you have Mercy. So you have to,
Yeah,
at least in my opinion, you have to take into account that they definitely have a lot more healing than you do. Like, yeah, they can't get away from you, but if you let the fight go on for a long time, their healing will just keep them alive, while your healing will not.
Could you also write that down specifically? That I think you went on about that a lot, and I feel like that is something important. Could you write that down also in a bracket mark as well?
Yeah,
like if they have more healing than you, be as aggressive as possible and try to end the fight quicker.
Yeah. Their healing doesn't affect the fight as much. There we go. For the third one, I don't think there's a third one. I think these two are the big things.
Yes. I screenshotted it. Thank you very much.
No
I will
problem.
definitely work on this.
No problem. Hold on.
And I feel like that's all to it anyways. Like I think it'll be a repeat. If you go on defense, for example, I think it'll be a repeat.
It might be, yeah. Like the same problems usually manifest themselves. Especially if your team comp doesn't change. Like if you still have Lucio Mercy, I will probably still tell you, well, we have to go maybe not aggressive on defense, right? Because you don't want to run at them because you will probably die. But the idea is generally you should play defensive until they commit, and when they commit or when you see them wasting resources, then you can engage on them and try to make the fight itself as short as possible. You just wait wherever it's safe, right? And when you see that they have used resources, or there's someone low, or there's someone out of position, you just press your advantage, and you should lose speed to kill them, because you can get on top of them before they can get away. So that's the same idea. Let's actually look at what compositions to use on defense.
Thank God our Mercy kind of listens.
Now looks like your Lucio listens.
Yeah. Now we don't have speed.
Now you don't.
At least we have heals.
Yeah. Now you have basically the same backline. Like Moira Mercy. Then honestly, Torture is not bad to help the front line. Like right.
What would you say the advantages of this? Like you said, if the battle goes on longer, the healing will be much more than theirs.
At this point,
but
no.
At the same time, they both cancel each other.
Same healing. Like they no longer have the advantage on healing, but you've lost the advantage on Lucio. If this was not Lucio, you still have speed and you'd have the healing. So you can both last basically the same as than they on a fight, but also have the speed. That would be ideal. That's why I usually play like Lucio with Rein's area. The best comps are usually either Lucio Moira or Lucio Baptiste, because they can do AoE healing to both of the tanks and whoever else is playing on the front line. They get their ults really quickly, which can be a big thing on the first fight, and you don't give up Lucio speed, which is very important for Rein's area.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say this depends. One big advantage you have in your composition is that you have long range damage, and they really don't. Genji is still playing on the flank, and Mei will probably play the front line, where you have Torjon, who's basically kind of front line, but also can spam, and also can prevent flanks with the turret. And you have Ashe, who is... this is your biggest advantage, I'd say, having the Ashe.
Why is Ashe our biggest advantage?
Because even when they close in, especially because they don't have a Lucio, right? They have to basically make this rotation, or make this rotation, or make this rotation. Whatever rotation they want, our Ashe can shoot them during the rotation. Whereas you don't really have any pressure. Like, until they get on top of you, like with the Mei, you will not really get pressure at all. Same goes for the Genji.
Or no value.
Genji may go for a flank, but because we even have a turret to prevent the flanking, he will be pressed to get a very big advantage. So unless the Genji goes off and gets a pick, he will not be putting any pressure on us either. Whereas we have both Torjon, who can do long range damage, his left click doesn't have any drop off, and Ashe, so we have a lot of long range damage too. Like, this is our advantage now. Like, the long range damage is our advantage. And this actually goes very well with the idea of, we play defensive until we get an advantage, because our long range damage actually benefits you when it comes to finding that advantage, right? Maybe your Ashe gets a big dynamite, maybe Torture gets a headshot. Yeah, basically, maybe, like, imagine Torture gets a headshot on, I don't know, Mei, and Mei is forced to use the ice cryo freeze.
Ice block.
The cryo freeze, yeah. And then you can just, I'm not saying it's free, because Mei wall you, but if you coordinate with your team, just go forward, go on the Mei dies, and you basically won the fight, right? And then you turn to deal with tanks, and again, Ashe will not come with you, but even if the tanks turn around, Ashe just still gets 3 shots from the long range. And basically, just having the long range allows you to get more value before the fight itself happens.
Yeah.
Which plays really well into just wait a little bit. Like, you can fire strike, you can shield a little bit to allow your DPS to if you want to play here, hold the shield so that your Torjon can just shoot for free on top of me. That's fine. And when they get close, then you expose yourself and you go aggro and press your advantage. I assume that even with the Torjon spam, you will get damage done.
Yeah.
That's basically the idea, at least for me on this comp. Just exploit the fact that we have we have the range advantage, basically, right? So play defensive so that our ranged characters can get value before the fight happens. And when the fight happens, we'll have more resources than they do because, well, especially if, for example, Ash gets a big dynamite, right? Then maybe they will have to use the bubbles to save one of their healers, or maybe they will use the Moira orb. They will use resources to, well, counter the dynamite, and they won't have those resources when you just engage.
What happens if they don't counter the dynamite and they just wait it out, for example?
Then they all have a self. Health is also a resource, right? Time is also a
Pardon?
resource. If they wait the dynamite out, then Ash will have it during the fight again. If they just stay here, right, for about, let's say that 3 people got dynamite, I believe dynamite does 150 damage, if I'm correct. It's 50 plus 100, I think. So we have 450 damage on them. And if they try to kill this, it will take them 3 or 4 seconds. In these 3 or 4 seconds, even if you can't commit, our Ash is still doing damage, our Torsion is still doing damage, right? Let's just say that the Moira uses, like, Moira can heal about 70 per second, and she will be low on resource to heal, well, 4 seconds in a row. Like, she will be at least at half. There's resource in everything.
Yeah.
How much they can heal, how much time passes, because again, the more time passes, the more damage your DPS can do on this angle, right? Maybe Torsion will go this way and shoot at them. Even if not, even if they just hide inside, coming out again and trying to engage you, well, Ash will soon have a new dynamite. So everything is a resource.
I get what you mean. How would you expect to do this if you were the one on the attack? If there's an Ash on your enemy team and she's like,
if I'm playing
you want to prevent her.
The first thing I would do is ask for Lucia. Like, I would be like, we are playing Rein Zarya, can we please get a Lucia? That would be my first thing. But assuming we don't have a Lucio, I would either probably... There are 2 options here. I would change, because I think playing Monkey with Zarya can work really well, and I can dive like the Ash, I can dive the Mercy, I can maybe get value out of Torsion, right? So I think Monkey is really good with Zarya, with Genji, and with Mercy as well. Or my other alternative is I rotate in a manner that prevents the enemy from getting as much value. So how do you rotate? And again, rotating becomes a lot harder if you don't have Lucio. But I would be like, okay, let's go. Main to the right. We take this high ground first, because enemies like to be on the high ground, right? So we take this high ground. Then we go all the way around, and we take this high ground. And then we drop on the enemy.
You take the least damage as possible.
Yeah, because here you can just get your resources back and then drop on the enemy. And if
What's
they want
the
to chase you
counterplay for that then? What's the counterplay for people wanting to rotate, like, left?
If people rotate this way, ideally, you either go very aggressive mid-rotation, like when they are doing this, you can go and try to meet the backline, like if the Rein Zarya is going this way, and maybe the Mercy stays behind, or maybe the Moira stays behind, right? I would go aggressive to try to bait resources. The other way you can do it is you rotate here and play like if you were on attack. Then your Rush can take the high ground, right? Now that the enemy is here, your Rush can take the high ground and shoot at point. And I'll play here. And I don't give them the point for free, but I wait until they are basically 1 tick. And then I touch the point here. I'll survive for as long as I can, knowing that basically they just have... Once they drop, they are basically in the open for my Ash, my Torsion, right? My Zarya, who should be with me. So I would just try to play here and put as much pressure on them as I can. And whenever I can, whenever I see that they have no shield, no bubbles, no wall, I just go at them and go aggressive. So that's the counterplay. Again, the idea is you play a rotation that benefits you in the sense that, well, yeah, I cannot give up the point. So my Rein plays here, but my Ash can just come here, right? Maybe here instead of all the way there. My Ash can come here, and from here, Ash can actually shoot at them by rotating. Even though it's not a great shot.
Left room.
Left room doesn't have these.
No, that's health pack, not Mega. My bad. Wait, is that Mega inside that room? No, it's health pack.
This is a mini. This is a mini.
Yeah, I thought it was Mega.
That's a Mega.
Oh, there's a Mega in there.
Yeah, but she doesn't need it. Like Ash will usually have Mercy with her. Yeah, from here Ash can just be like, okay, whether they drop or they stay on high ground, I can get a little damage done on the high ground, and if they drop, I basically can shoot all of them. So Rein is basically forced to hold the shield, or his team gets picked by the Ash. Then your top can just be like, oh wait, I'm top. I'll play here, right? I'll put my turret
Yeah.
I'll put my turret here, where it will shoot at them for free, and I'll play like either here or on these boxes, and I can again just take an angle and shoot at them. Then your Rein just plays here, and if I'm Rein, I just go, hello. Yeah, I'm touching the point. You can't really cap right now. If you try to go at me and drop your shield, we have a lot of damage coming this way. Sarah just plays with the Rein, and your Mora just plays behind this wall, so she doesn't get killed.
Yeah.
But the too long don't read is on attack. I usually do this rotation to take the high ground and then drop on point of whoever I want to. On defense, if I see the enemy team doing that, I either go very aggressive, especially if you have a Lucio, and they don't. You can go very aggressive mid rotation and try to kill whoever's rotating.
I never understood the value of Zarya and Lucio, to be honest. Now that you mention it,
yeah,
like I never considered it priority, like with most of the stuff that you want to do. You know?
yeah, of course. Like Zarya is really good because she helps you with the frontline damage as well as the bubbles. But honestly, I think Lucio is actually more important than Zarya for Rein.
Yeah.
Like Zarya is very important, but you can play D.Va and get value as well. D.Va can do close range damage. D.Va has the defense matrix. She has the advantage that she can actually contest high grounds as well. She doesn't have as much damage as Zarya, of course, but you can play D.Va, but I would say you still want a Lucio over like a Mercy when you're playing Rein.
Yeah.
But yeah, the too long don't read is if the enemy team does the rotation, you can counter it by playing as if you were the attacking team. And you only have to touch the point a little bit. You don't even have to like cap it because you are defending. You don't want to kill them all immediately so that they cannot contest. You are the one contesting, so you can play a little defensive, and your team will get the advantage if they try to press you.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But yeah, that's the too long don't read. Again, this all falls into, well, recognize what advantages my team has over them and what disadvantages we have. And right now, our disadvantage is actually probably on the front line.
No speed.
Well, they don't have speed either, right? So it's not like it's a disadvantage in compared to the team. If we had speed, it would be a huge advantage for us. Like I'm saying in all of the attack. Having speed is a big advantage.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'll be like, because they have a Mei, they basically have 500 extra health on the front line from the wall. So I will be like, okay, we just play for the long range because that's what we can do. We play defensive. If I go aggressive, I'll probably get walled off. And I will wait until I see an opportunity and then contest them. And on the meanwhile, while I'm playing defensive, my damage dealers are getting a lot of damage done just by shooting at their team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And yeah, that's just how you would play this point.
Yep. At least with these people. With this team. Like again, if we had a Lucio and they didn't, I would just be like, okay, let's just wait here. Go in 3, 2, 1. We just go all at once, and they don't really have anything that can stop us at that point because we can just run at someone and kill them. But yeah, it depends. How to play depends a lot on the composition. And so there are not that many different styles. Like you can play defensive or you can play aggressively, right? It's basically the two main ways of playing Rein. When to go aggressive really decides the fight, and it depends a lot of what your team has and what resources you can get out of the enemy team. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's enough, probably.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You've given me more than enough to work with, anyways. I'm pretty excited, to be honest.
All right. Hopefully it helps.
And
okay. I'll
yeah,
see
like
you. I'll have to take a break because it's been an hour and a half. But yeah, I'm gonna take a short break, chat, and then I'll do the next one.
thank you. Take care.
Have a good time.
Take care, sir.